All right, I'm Ron. Welcome back to Supper and Suds. So, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what this is all about. You can go back and watch some other episodes if you want to, but basically, I cook, sample some beer. The whole basic, I'm single and busy, like to cook, don't have a lot of time to cook, don't like to go out and eat a lot because it's expensive. Tend to overeat, overdrink. I do try to watch what I eat a little bit. So anyway, and I like to have beer with dinner. I'm not a big drinker, but I don't like to drink boring beer. So I like to try stuff I've never had before. So tonight, on this episode, I'm gonna do an oven-baked chicken breast and some steamed, basically microwave, sweet potatoes, and we are going to try something I've never had before. It's a Yuengling Flight. Basically, it's I've had some Yuengling stuff before. Never had this one. It's a low carb, low calorie. Who knows? They're trying to, it's a real low carb, low cal beer stuff. So those are okay. Never had this one, so we're going to try it. So I'm going to talk to you about the chicken breast. So there's a couple tricks to fixing chicken breasts in the oven. The number one thing that you want to do is you want to brine your chicken breast. Now I'm going to tell you what that means if you don't know. You're going to take a bowl, put some not warm, not cold, just kind of tepid water in the bowl, heaping tablespoon or so of salt. You're going to make sure it's good and dissolved, and you're going to put your chicken breasts in that brine, and you're just going to let them set. Now, what I like to do, I like to get my breasts out of the oven a couple hours before I'm going to put them in the oven. I'm going to put them in the brine. You can brine longer than that, but if you want to brine any longer than a couple hours, I suggest that you put them back in the refrigerator and then maybe pop them out an hour or two before you're going to put them in the oven. The good thing about having them out for a couple hours is it's going to bring those up to room temperature really nice. As you've heard me say before, a lot of meat, when you fix it, it needs to be room temperature. If it's fresh right out of the refrigerator, it does not cook the same. So that being said, if it's going to be more than 2 hours, you want to cover it, put it in the fridge, and then pull it back out later. I put these chicken breasts in some salt water a couple hours ago. They're ready to go. So when you take those out of the brine, you're going to pat them dry, and then you're going to put them in a glass baking dish like I have over here. And I've kind of already prepped some of this just for making this shorter. But I got a glass baking dish. And what I did was I put about 3 tablespoons of butter in there. I got the stick butter. Guys, I don't recommend margarine. I like real butter for this stuff. About 3 tablespoons. You can just cut the little thing, it's already measured out for you. So I'm gonna melt that a little bit in the microwave, about 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna put my chicken breasts in there. I'm gonna lay them in it, then I'm gonna flip them so both sides are covered in butter, and then I'm gonna put on my seasonings. Like I told you before, seasonings is kind of up to you. I'll tell you what I do with mine. I put a little paprika on there. I put a little garlic powder, not garlic salt, okay? You'll get them too salty. I put just a little dash of coarse sea salt on there. I like to put my favorite buffalo seasoning on there too. Give it a little bit of pizzazz, and then a little bit of oregano on top. So, and then I do that on both sides, and then I let that set a little while my oven's preheating, so you can see what those look like. Guys, you can season those to taste. I like a lot of seasoning on mine. You can lighten that up. That maybe is a little strong for some people, but top and bottom. Now, you heard my oven beep, so I'm gonna cook that uncovered, and I'm gonna set my timer for about 30 minutes. Now, I like to cook this chicken at a higher heat. There's some things I do at 350 or 400. I'm going to tell you, it works really good at about 450. So I set that for 30 minutes. I kind of have an idea, 20, 30 minutes. It depends on the size and thickness of your chicken breast, like everything else. So I think 30 is safe, but then I'm going to check the internal temperature with my good old handy dandy meat thermometer. You definitely want that stuff at chicken at 165 degrees internal temperature, okay? So with that being said, we've got that in the oven. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about our potatoes. Now, again, if you've watched my videos before, the purpose of this thing is to make life easy for yourself without eating a lot of processed food or takeout food or restaurant food. So I like to cook things that are simple, right? So I got a bag of sweet potatoes, little bag of sweet potatoes. Guys, these things are microwave ready. You fix them right in the bag. Now, I'm not gonna cook these until the chicken is actually done, but I'm gonna talk about, now you can put that on high for 8 to 10 minutes. There's little perforations all in the bag. And so I'm gonna have a nice sweet potato. You can put a little butter, you know, a lot of people put a little cinnamon and sugar on those, and I might even put just a tad of that on there myself. But if you're counting calories, you're watching your diet and that sort of things, you know, you're adding a lot to your meal. So anyway, that's the chicken recipe in a nutshell. And that's in the oven. And so we'll take a break here and come back. But before we leave, I want to talk to you a little bit about this Yuengling Flight, next generation of light beers. It's 2.6 grams of carbs, 95 calories. So, I don't know. I'm going to try it here while we're cooking our dinner. And so, my favorite beer glass, and I've told you this before, don't drink beer. I mean, obviously when you're out, you drink beer out of a bottle or you're tailgating or something, but man, I like beer out of a glass when I'm home. It does make a difference. So I dropped the cap on the floor. So anyway, Molly was gonna eat that. So it's got a nice little head on it. Guys, this, honestly, it just looks like your typical light beer to me. You know, it's got a little, that golden color to it. It smells like about every other light beer I've ever smelled. So anyway, nothing extraordinary about this beer, but I'm gonna take a little taste here. I always say first taste is a waste. I kind of want that to marinate on the palate for a minute, get an idea of what we're dealing with here. So I will say this, you know, I don't do a lot of these videos, but if you do like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel or give me a like or tell somebody about it. I do it because I enjoy doing it. If nobody watched, I might do it anyway. But anyway, I like to do one every now and then when I have a little bit of free time and kind of have something planned. You know, a lot of what I do, like you saw, I have 3 chicken breasts in that dish. Guys, I'll eat chicken 3 nights. I just really will. Maybe that's kind of boring, but it makes my life easy. But now I'll swap up the side on that. I'll have sweet potato tonight. Tomorrow night I might have some rice. The next night I might have some mashed potatoes. And you see me do those before. I got some Uncle Ben's microwavable rice. I got the little packets of, you know, you heat up 2 cups of water on a stove top, pour in the mashed potatoes and make them up. So that stuff is relatively healthy. It's not, you know, processed food for the most part, and it simplifies your life. And that's really what I'm after here. I try to watch what I eat. I always just say on here I'm not a calorie counter, but actually I have been of late. I'm kind of on a V-shred program, working out and trying to thin out a little bit, and just kind of get in summer shape, I guess. So I am counting calories a little bit right now. I'm watching, my total calorie intake for the day. So you can't do a lot of this when you're doing that. But I am going to take another drink of this Yuengling Flight. So, honestly, I'm not a huge light beer fan because I think they're a little light on flavor as well. This is not a bad beer. I mean, obviously, you can taste your normal stuff in this, your wheat, hops. So wheat adds a little sweetness. Hops is where you get, or your malt's a little bit on your bitter, but it's just to me, it's just your standard light beer. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I probably wouldn't pick this up over what I call my daily drinker, which is Dos Equis lager, by the way. If I'm out or I'm somewhere, or I'm just drinking a few beers, I usually pick up Dos Equis. I like it. That's my favorite kind of daily drinker per se, but kind of a little new saying, just don't drink boring beer, and I'll be honest with you, sorry Yuengling, this is a little boring. Now, if you're if you're really watching calories, excuse me, you're doing all the light beer, this is unedited, so you get what you get. If you're doing all the light beer thing, this is a good beer for that. I mean, it's low carb, low calorie, probably, meant to compete with maybe your Bud Lights, your Mick Ultra, something like that. It's just running your mill light beer. Not great, not bad. It's just okay. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna pause this till our chicken is done, and we'll show you the finished product. All right, so I'm back. So chicken's done, potatoes are done. I told you I thought 30 minutes was gonna be good, right on the money. It was 170 degrees. I just took the potatoes out of the microwave. I microwaved those for 10 minutes, and we're gonna put this meal together. Now, something that I suggest doing, as I do with pork, chicken, beef, whatever the case may be, I like to let that rest a little bit. So what I did when I took that out of the oven, I covered it with a piece of aluminum foil, and I'm letting that rest for about 5 minutes while the potatoes were finishing up. So now, what I want to go over, one of the things I want to talk about. So we talk about eating healthy meals, and I've said before, I'm not really a calorie counter, but I've been kind of watching some things. So I'm going to give you a little idea tonight what this meal consists of. So we got a really nice chicken breast. All right, so that chicken breast, hold on here, I'm going to tell you what it weighs. 210 grams. So I think 168 gram chicken breast was about 170 calories. So you can do the math. It's probably 200 calories, just throwing that up there on that chicken breast. And then one of these sweet potatoes is about 100 calories, okay? Now, I'm gonna add some calories to that rascal. because I'm going to put about a tablespoon of butter in there. Okay, so we're going to let that melt. So a tablespoon of butter is 100 calories. The chicken was about 200. I'm going to put a little bit of butter and sugar on that, and a beer, and really about 500 calorie dinner. It's not too bad. Now you see I got leftovers here. I got leftover potatoes. I've got leftover chicken. You can have a different side if I don't want to have potatoes again tomorrow night. But pretty simple meal to fix. So I'm going to slice into this chicken. So you can see it's just nice and moist. Come out at about 170 degrees after 30 minutes. So easy meal, a little bit of prep time. Now I do want to say, guys, you don't have to brine the chicken. You don't have to. If time is an issue, you don't have time to brine it, you don't have to brine it. But if you have time, brine it, because it's delicious that way. So, juicy, well seasoned. I'm going to put just a dash of cinnamon on my potato. Really no calories there. And I do have just about, I don't know, I put a teaspoon or so of sugar on that. And so, there we go. We got a delicious oven-baked chicken breast. We got a steamed baked sweet potato, which is fantastic. And we got a Yuengling Flight. The beer's okay. Like I say, don't drink boring beer. It's a little bit boring, but if you're counting calories, you're watching that stuff, it's competitive in that market, and it's not a bad beer. Just a little light on flavor as well. So listen, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Really easy meal to fix. Really is half an hour of cooking time there. There's a little bit of prep, but not a ton. Depends on whether you brine it or not. But listen, you can shove that and brine it, you know, while you're doing some other stuff when you get home from work. So that kind of doesn't need a lot of attention. So listen, again, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Give me a like, subscribe, tell somebody about it. I mean, it's cool, you know, just let somebody watch and see. You don't have to get recipe ideas from me. These are not original recipes for the most part. Every now and then I have something that I kind of came up with on my own, but for the most part, these are just recipes that I picked up over the years that are healthy. They're pretty simple to make. And I can kind of, like tonight, you know, I'm single, so I got 3 chicken breasts. So I can basically take that and have several different meals. I can take a chicken breast tomorrow to work if I want to, heat it up in the microwave for a minute or something, and have, you know, a healthy lunch. So there's lots of options there. The potato is really good, actually. So I love the sweet potatoes. They're healthy. Actually, you know, baked potatoes, regular baked potatoes, actually pretty healthy too. So I like rice dishes. You could have a salad with this. You could do whatever you want. So just trying to make your life easy, have a little fun in the meantime, sample a beer that I never had before. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, I'm out.